Are you hiding behind that wall over there? I mean, do you find it a struggle to show up online all the time? You need to tune into this because visibility is your friend and you're treating it like a side chick.
And
Break my soul. You won't break my soul. You won't break my soul. I'm telling everybody.
Welcome back to the Made Herself a Boss podcast, all about mastering methods and mindsets to making more money in your business, my friend. We are the dynamic duo that is helping you make more money, and I am Shy, and this is my girl, Bree.
my name is Bree, and we make up team MadeHerselfABoss. Before we go forward, make sure that you go ahead, like, subscribe, all that good stuff, please, so that you can continue to watch this episode and all the next ones that we have coming up.
Yes.
So there's a reason why Shanika started it off like that. It's visibility. We've been doing Made Herself a Boss for several years now. And what we have found consistently is that a lot of entrepreneurs are just struggling with making themselves visible. And there's so many culprits to that. It could be fear of being seen. It could be lack of consistency.
Mm-hmm.
It could be just not knowing how to make yourself visible in front of the right audience, your particular audience.
Yeah.
So we're definitely going to just dive into that and a little bit more in today's episode. So with people's visibility, I think for the most part it's the consistency, because an entrepreneur can decide where they want to be seen at, and most likely they start off with social media because it's easier. Like, you get to hide behind a screen, let's be honest, but they can't even remain consistent with that.
Yeah.
So when I think about the other ways, like speaking and vendor shows, whatever is individual to your particular field, consistency is, I think, I'm bringing that up first because that has to be the number one thing that you have to be able to commit to. Once you find your lane, you want to be able to consistently show up in that in order for this to work. You cannot just show up once.
Yeah, no, you can't. But I think about comes with consistency. I want to dial it back just a little bit because I don't think they really caught what you said earlier. Talking through the fear of rejection, judgment, a lot of reasons why they can't even show up consistently and do what you just told them to do because of that fear. And I think it's starting off with recognizing the fear that you have of feeling rejected, feeling like, oh, what if I said something wrong? Or all of the feelings that can happen, and acknowledging them and working through those fears. And if you're not going to work through those fears, you're not going to show up in a place where your audience that you're called to serve can receive you, can receive what you have for them because of the fear that has you behind a wall, behind those posts, behind whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, like you said, we are in a day and age that video.
And it's going to get even more video.
And at the end of the day, people like to connect with you. People like to connect with people who get it, they understand it, they can build trust with you. And 9 times out of 10, it's this experience right here, right?
Yeah.
People, when they can experience you, they can understand you and buy into you, and not buy into you in a sense of a sale, but buy into you that she understands exactly what I am experiencing, what I am going through. And I just want to get to know her more to the point of, you know what? I can trust her enough to give her my money, give me my money. You can do all of those things in a way that feels of integrity to you because you trust this person. But if you're not really dealing with the why you can't show up consistent, why you can't show these people your beautiful face, and why you can't share your story with such conviction and confidence, then it's never going to render anything for you. Yeah. So I wanted to dial it back just a little bit in understanding where these fears are coming from so that we can expose them, you can work through them, and then you can start doing what Bree just told you to do.
With the consistency. So yeah, now that we established, getting over that fear of being seen, because once you put it out there, I love what Shai said, because once you put it out there, you kind of have a responsibility to show up for that girl who's like really connecting to what you are putting out there, who's looking forward to seeing it, and who is so happy that they found someone who offers a solution to their problem. So once you look at it like, oh, I'm kind of have a responsibility. Like, this is a job for me to do, not just for the income, but because I'm truly actually doing something with my business. Think about it like that. Like, take yourself out of it. And yes, the consistency. Must show up. So say, for example, Shy's favorite way to be seen that she always brings up, speaking engagements, right? So let's talk about how can you be consistent with just being on someone's stage or being on someone's platform, because it doesn't always mean being at a conference or something like that. It can be on Instagram Live. It could be, any one of those things where someone has given you or you're creating your own opportunities to just be at the forefront and be seen and, grab their attention for a little moment and say your spiel and give them something to go forward with.
Yeah. I think when it comes to speaking, people look at it like this mundane thing to do. So one, reframe, right? When you reframe what the task is, so for me, it will be reframing that if I am seen, I can impact more. If I am seen, then they know that there is another option who truly cares about me that will help me get to my goal faster. Yes. So when you change the perspective of the task, then the task gets a little bit more enjoyable. You remember in one of the episodes where we talked about the $1, $5 task?
Yes.
You break down the numbers a little bit smaller for my brain, right? So who can you delegate? We talked about another that, delegate versus doing it all yourself. Who can you delegate someone to do the pitching for you, right? Because the consistency with being on stages or speaking or whatever the ways you want to do it is how are you getting yourself out there to the people who need to see you? And one of those ways is pitching. So who can you, whether Fiverr, Upwork. Intern, yourself, who can you give that task to where they're pitching consistently for, I'm going to make it up for the sake of making it up, 4 days for 90 minutes a day each, that are just pitching you one day, all things podcast, Tuesday, all days stages, and you're flipping back and forth, flipping back and forth, flipping back and forth. Who is that person you can delegate that to? Or what can you delegate during the week that is consistently all about pitching yourself in these things so that you can be seen and heard in the various of ways? And like Bree said, it's not necessarily all about the stage. It could be you're watching this on a podcast. You could be a podcast feature, right? You can create your own opportunity where you're having workshops or seminars or whatever you're having in person where people can come and hear you speak about something, right? There are many ways that you can speak, collaborations, going live, collaborating, going live, where you are being put in front of an audience who needs to know that you exist, right? So think about the different ways that you can do that, and you're doing that on a consistent basis. If the goal is to show up and speak 5 times a month, and that is the goal that you're going to have for yourself, what are the various ways you can do that?
Yeah.
1 stage, 2 podcast episodes, two live collaborations with somebody. There's 5 right there, and you spoke in front of different audiences. It does not have to be hard when you reframe. Maybe take the word hard out of your vocabulary, but it's never a challenge when you can reframe what it will do for you, right? And be strategic when you're speaking in front of these audience. What are those topics, right? What are those things that you can leave? What is a free gift you can give? Be strategic. What is a free text to? Text money to X, Y, and Z, that you can now get these people who encountered and experienced you into your world so you can nurture and have a relationship with them.
Yeah, that follow-up crazy, huh? Make sure
I just gave you a whole game. I just gave you game. And it's what we do.
It is. So just rounding up kind of what we went over, that was a beautiful example when it came to like speaking, and we also named some other things, like of course the social media. Yes. Just being consistently seen in your niche. Let's really get really quickly into how to decide the best method of being seen, of getting visibility, depending on your niche or the specific type of business that you have.
So I think about, where does my audience lie online and offline in large groups, because we don't believe in hustling over here, right? Grace and ease. So where can I find the people that I enjoy serving in large groups online and offline? List them all out. When you list them all out, then you look at it and it's like, okay, how can I place myself in front of these people where they can know that, hey, your girl exists. I'm here. Let me help you, girl. Right? So how can I do that online and offline in the various of ways, so that I can say hi, hello, that I am here.
Yeah.
And then you're specific because you're looking, like you said, at the niche that you serve. So if I'm a dog trainer, go with it. Just go with it. If I'm a dog trainer and my goal is to train other people effectively to train their other people dogs in their community area, whatever, I'm going to go to networking events. I'm going to go to conferences. I'm going to go into community events where those people lie. I'm going to go, if there is one, there probably is because I don't know the world, but I'm making it up. Go in it. I'm going to place myself and connect with dog trainer schools that I can place myself in front of them where I can help those people be effective dog trainers so that they can get everything that they need to be the best trainer in the world and go out here and train these dogs for people. You get what I'm trying to say.
Right.
The point is, wherever they are, how am I placing myself in front of them, showing service so they know that I exist, so they know that I can help them do that in large amount of groups. Who said I have to go one by one by one by one?
You don't.
You don't.
Can not mass produce because that sounds like you're just like not individually thinking about it, but you can hit a few different things at the same time and make your spread, make you just said this word to me when we were talking about Target, make your expansion bigger.
Oh yeah, expand yourself. Yes,
absolutely. So you have to look, what can I do with my individual niche, my individual solution to someone's individual problem? What can I do to get like in front of the audience where that person who has that issue or would be interested in something that I offer, where would they be at? And where are they at often? Because that's where I need to be spending a lot of time because it only makes sense.
Yeah, it only naturally makes sense. And before we go on commercial break, I also want to remind you that as far as being visible, people need to see you. They need to hear your story. We have an amazing episode that we featured Ayana, where she's talking about your story, right? People connect with people that they get, that they understand. Yeah. And 90% or probably even more of sales are emotional. So what is that connection? People need to hear your story out of your own mouth in your creative way. And when you do that, you are building that trust factor. So I really want to make sure we're saying that when we're talking about visibility and all these ways, that it's important that you are putting your story out there, that you are connecting. Like right now, we connecting. We already friends.
We right here.
Yeah, we are. But if we were hidden behind this vase, this wall, or staying behind these posts, you would have never got a chance to experience who we are, our personalities, why we're this dynamic duo, why we gel so greatly, and how we are helping you and helping others. If you are not able to share who you are, a piece of who you are. Now, we're not saying everybody needs to know every single thing about you on these social media streets and out here on these platforms of your business. We're not saying we need to know what you buy, how you buy. We're not saying any of that. But we are saying show up in a way that feels authentic to you and how people can connect with you and how you can lead them to nurturing and building a relationship with them that helps them. So that's why I want to make sure we say it before we go on commercial break.
That was so well said.
Oh, thank you.
So like Shai said, we're going to go ahead to the commercial break. We will see you on the other side in just a moment.
Bye.
If your marketing's not making you money, then what are you really doing?
You've been posting, showing up, and doing all the right things, but still the sales are inconsistent. The inquiries dry, the engagement not translating to cash.
Look, it's not your fault that no one ever taught you how to market to make money, but that's all about to change. Join us March 27th at 7 p.m.
for the Market to Make Money webinar. We're breaking down the biggest mistakes keeping your marketing from converting, the real reason your content isn't bringing in cash, hint, it's not the algorithm, and the exact steps to attract, engage, and sell without begging for business or waiting on likes to turn into clients. So if you're ready to stop marketing for the sake of marketing and start marketing to make money, then pull up.
See you March 27th at our free webinar. Click the link and sign up today.
We'll see you there. Welcome back from the commercial break. We are talking about visibility in this episode. So next we wanted to get into strategies and methods and tips, how to feel more confident being seen. Was that it?
Yeah, girl. Yeah. More confident in yourself and more confident in sharing your story. And for me, the natural first step or the natural first thing is always reminding yourself of who you are and whose you are, whether you're bringing out the journals of the accomplishments and confidence journal, all the things, or you're just taking time to soak in the mirror who you are, the brilliance of who you are and whose you are. I think that's, to me, my first natural step when it comes to the confidence factor.
I love that. So, I don't know. I kind of want you to expand upon that more, who you are, whose you are, because to me that goes back to like the clarity of those things, right? Mm-hmm. So who you are, this is the person, like how do you want to be represented? Of course, what is it that I do? Who do I serve? How does it solve their problem? All of that. I mean, that should already in itself give you the confidence of what you are talking about. Mm-hmm. And the whose you are, it's no secret who we believe in, who we rocking with over here. Mm-hmm. And we know who he created his daughters, his people to be. And Absolutely. If you really get into the book and read what he has said that we are, how he views us, mm-hmm. how he loves us, you really wouldn't be fearful of just getting in front of his other his other creations and just sharing your value to them.
Yeah, I think it's all about reminding yourself of who God, like you said, who God says you are. And when you remind yourself, you're like, well, how can I not show up as this amazing person that I am? I think it's always seeing yourself in the lens of how he sees you. And when you are able to do that consistently, your confidence is just beaming. Can you not just see the light bouncing off of our beautiful faces? That is how you will be on a consistent basis when you are seeing yourself through the lens of how he sees you. You are wonderfully made. You are beautifully made. How can you not show up as that person every single day, even on the days that you don't feel it? But when you view yourself and how he created you, girl,
how can you not?
You are that girl.
Girl, I got a book for that too.
Yeah.
I might put it in the comments.
It reminds me of like, oh, y'all know that song? Y'all know the song. Y'all know that song by Tyler, the Creator's, It's Getting Sticky. Maybe that's what it's called. I think he says, I don't care about no pronouns. I'm that nigga and that bitch. Bleep, bleep, whatever. But you view yourself like, I am that. Like, how can I not? And how can I not show up for these people?
Girl, I love our podcast. And so just some other tips that came to mind as far as just getting more comfortable, kind of being seen and putting yourself out there is to practice. What are you looking on us right now? Most likely, like your phone, probably, right? Mm-hmm. You know that you have the camera feature on there. Do you know that you can start practicing your speaking? You know that you can start practicing, like actually selling what it is that you are selling, your service, how you help people. You can start practicing doing all of that before you do any posts, before you get in front of people live, before you do any of that stuff. And that way you can actually see and understand and work on, if you have the opportunity, how are you delivering this?
Good. That's good.
Because that's so important too. Like, how do you even look and sound, and what is your vibe when you're delivering this good information that's going to be life-changing to someone once they invest into your business? So definitely practice, familiarize and get yourself more comfortable with yourself, how you do things, and fall in love with that, honestly.
Yeah. I like that. And then next, I would say focus on impact, not perfection. I would focus on the bigger picture, which is the impact that you're making in one's life. Everybody messes up. Everybody makes mistakes, even when we are visible and live and all of the things. But I think when you focus more on the impact that you can make in one's life, I think that overdraws everything else. I think on one of our episodes before, we talked about how what we're doing is bigger than ourselves. Yeah. And I think when you take that concept and internalize it, it's like, you know what? I'm going to show up for the person who needs this. I'm going to make sure that they are experiencing what they need despite what's going on with me. Yeah. And I think when you look at it from that and you're focusing more on the impact that you can make, it's like, for me, showing up like this in this capacity is enjoyable. I enjoyed it. I will be the one to say that I didn't want to do a podcast at first. I was like, okay, Brie, like, you need to maybe focus on and try to master something else. But the more I got into it and did it, the more I enjoy doing this with you. I enjoy doing this with you guys watching this right now. So I think when you focus on the impact, I think it makes everything else much better. I remember, when we get comments on our shorts and on our episodes, or when people say, oh, what you said, I totally didn't understand it, that helped me out,
That feels so good.
It feels so good. It makes it more enjoyable. Somebody's listening to me, right? It feels good. And like Bree said earlier about things that feel good in your body, do what feels good. What feels good within you. I think that makes it even more desirable to continue to do.
So let's dive into of course, it's always inner work. Mm-hmm. What really works really good? Affirmations. What are we telling ourselves about ourselves before we get out there? And even as we're doing it, what are we in our heads, telling ourselves about ourselves and what it is that we are selling?
Yeah, that's good. I think affirmation, the keyword, pre-word, whatever, y'all know what I'm trying to say, is affirm. And affirm these things over yourself. So what are you saying over yourselves? Because everything is, or what we're experiencing are the stories that we told ourselves. So what is a word, what is a fragment of a statement that you can state to yourself about yourself that is affirming who you are? We talked about how you are seeing yourself through the lens of how God sees you. So what are some affirmation things that you can say that helps you show up in a way that is confident, that is clear, that is concise to who you're desiring to be right now, and so that you can be visible to the people that you're called to serve. Yeah. So think about some things that you can say over yourself, about yourself, that helps bring that into fruition for yourself. So affirmations are absolutely powerful, but even make it more powerful is walking into those things. So it's not enough that you affirm, it's enough that you are walking into what you speak over yourself. So I want to make sure that we are crystal clear that although affirmations are powerful, they are powerful, but you need to walk in what you're affirming over yourself, meaning take action. Okay?
Love that.
So now that you got the tips and the things that you need to do to stay confident, let's now bring that into the content that you are creating so that you are staying omnipresent, visible in the things that you're doing. So Bree, what are some things that we can do so that we are creating content that connects with the people?
Girl, they're going to be so tired of us going back to you got to be clear on what it is that you do, who it is that you serve, and the problem that you solve. But I think that that's the core of it. I mean, once you have those three things is like burned in your head, the content that you're putting out, or, you know, whatever you're doing to stay visible, it's just going to come to you and it's just going to make sense. Yeah. So if my thing is photography and I want to put out some things about how important it is to brand your business. Yeah. Yeah. You know, first of all, I'll be having similar conversations like this. You need to brand and just make sure that it's at a good quality. But, you know, so I would be speaking to that. I would be speaking to the importance. I would be speaking to what happens if you don't brand your business? What happens if you don't make sure that it's good quality? What happens if you are putting out the wrong imagery of yourself and it's confusing to people? Yeah. So I think that once you know you're clear on those three things, your visibility, a big part of it needs to be on educating your ideal client on why they need this, maybe why they're experiencing the problem that they're experiencing, and how coming to you just makes sense. Yeah. And at the very, very least, if you don't walk away with the sale today, you've captured their interest because you've shown that, you know what, she gets it. Yeah. She gets what I'm actually going through right now, and she's talking directly to me. Yeah, that makes so much sense, and it goes into the power of vulnerability. When you are creating this for the people, when you're clear and you know these people because you've been there, you've experienced that, right? Now you can create content with vulnerability. It's okay to say, you know what, I don't even have all the answers today. Matter of fact, we don't even have all the answers today, right? So I think about that power in that, where it builds that connection, that trust with that person, because you are being vulnerable about where you are, where you've been, and what has happened. And what happens when you're vulnerable? Somebody that is looking at you or listening to you, and they're like, you know what? If she can do it and get through it, it gives me more encouragement that I can do it and get through it. And it's like, I'm not alone. There's somebody that gets me, that gets it. So there is so much power when you are vulnerable in your content and you are honest and transparent about where you are and where you have been and where you're desiring to go, because it's like you're giving this subconscious, powerful permission to people to do the same and to show up in a capacity that they can do it too. And we think about confidence. At the end of the day, a lot of people, when you show up confident, you are giving people permission to show up confident. 9 times out of 10, they are borrowing your confidence to make a decision. I was just thinking that. They really are. So you showing up has so much power, and you being real and you being vulnerable has so much power into the people you are called to serve. Yes. Girl, show up. Show up. So we want to we are going to end it here, but we actually want to continue this conversation in the comments, please tell us down below, have you been struggling with vulnerability? And tell the truth, be honest. This is a safe space. Our comment section is a safe space. Please let us know, have you been struggling with being visible? What are the things that are like holding you back from it?
Yeah.
And what questions do you have about how to remain visible if you've been trying but like are struggling to just stay consistent with it?
Yeah.
Down in the description box, as usual, we definitely have the 3 or more journal prompts for you to go ahead and follow. Please make sure that you check that out.
Yes.
And if you like what you've seen so far on this episode and you are ready to see more, we have tons of other episodes. Make sure that you click somewhere on the screen to view them. Like and subscribe.
Please.
We will definitely see you on the next episode.
Yeah, and goodbye.
Bye.
Every now and then, try to be fine, but I can't be. Not in my mind, what